And we've got some breaking news coming in right now. Pakistan has responded to the US cutting security assistance to Islamabad. Pakistan says it has fought the war against terror on its own resources, which has cost more than $120 billion to Islamabad. That's the big story we're tracking right now. The Pakistan has finally responded to the United States. This, of course, a press release from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs from the government of Pakistan, which says that Pakistan continues to engage with the US administration on the issue of security cooperation, but awaits further details. Taha Siddiqui, WION's Pakistan Bureau Chief, joining us on the phone line right now for more on that story. Taha, the United States says that it's pumped in money in the billions of dollars to Pakistan, but now Pakistan hitting back at the US, saying that this war has on terror has cost them $120 billion in the last 15 years. So clearly Pakistan's not backing away from its stance at all.
Well, this is basically somewhat of an initial statement that has come from the spokesperson's office, of the Foreign Office, in which he's trying to sort of say that the amount that the US have paid is already not that great or not that huge, and they have stated their own expense, which they claim was over $120 billion US in 15 years. So even if we go by that 33 billion figure or that Trump tweeted about, which is also actually wrong, and half of that is actually reimbursement and the other half was in aid. So given all of that, so now they're like basically discussing numbers, and I think it's going to be a lot of back and forth. But the Pakistani Foreign Office is also awaiting further details as to what the impact will be, because if you saw the State Department's statement and the presser in which they talked about it, they said that they're just cutting security aid. So it does not really specify as to what will happen to civilian aid, or whether that security aid is specific for some reasons and the other security aid will still be coming in. So right now the Foreign Office is engaging with the US administration to find out more about what the impact of this announcement will be on Pakistan.
Right. Taha, also, of course, the United States has recently even put a deadline into place saying that Pakistan needs to act on certain members of the Haqqani network and that there'll be further sanctions on Islamabad if it fails to meet those deadlines. Has this latest bit of the press briefing, or rather the press note that's come out of the Foreign Office, addressed any of these factors as far as deadlines go?
Well, as far as that particular list of terrorists is concerned, it's still we haven't heard any official version of it, either in the State Department sort of presser that happened, or from the Pakistani government, any officials confirming it. So it's been more of some rumors that have been mongering in Islamabad. This rumor mongering that has happened, which is talking about these terrorists, which need to be needs to be taken about them. But generally, overall, it's really about the Haqqani network and the Afghan militant groups. And we know that in the past, Pakistan has been reluctant or hesitant in acting against them, given that they perhaps serve Pakistan's own strategic interests. So, as of yet, we do not see, and the Foreign Office usually comments on militancy or militant groups, and it's usually a rhetoric whenever it comes out of them, and to the effect of that Pakistan is not sponsoring them or Pakistan is not behind it. But this time around, we're seeing an absolute silence as far as the accusations are concerned. Pakistan is trying to respond with more general and generic statements of how a relationship between the two countries should continue, and how US and Pakistan have been long-term allies, and Pakistan is disappointed in the US's behavior in recent times.
Absolutely. Stay with me, Taha. WION's senior editor Surya Gangadharan is also joining us on the broadcast. Surya, I'm just looking at this note that's come out of the office of the spokesperson for the Foreign Affairs Ministry in Pakistan. And it says, the last paragraph, working towards enduring peace requires mutual respect and trust, along with patience and persistence. Emergence of new and more deadly groups such as Daesh in Afghanistan call for enhancing international cooperation. So clearly this is, though Afghanistan is mentioned here, I think the reference is to the United States and continuing cooperation. But yet Khwaja Asif, the Foreign Affairs Minister in Pakistan, just yesterday to a TV channel says that Pakistan's neither a friend nor an ally. How do we, make sense of these contradictory statements coming out of Pakistan? We're used to those happening from the United States.
Well, Pakistan has gone through this exercise with the US before, even during the time of the Obama administration. And there was a suspension of aid, and relations went downhill for a while before picking up again. So the Pakistanis have been dealing with the Americans for, 3-4 decades, and they understand them well. So they're probably hoping this squall will pass and things will get back to normal, because at the end of the day, the American forces are there in Afghanistan and they do need logistical support, and the easiest way is through Pakistan. So in that sense, Pakistan could well be, Pakistan's good officers, their cooperation is required. The other point about this note that they have given, the Pakistani Foreign Office, there's no reference here to America's own concerns about, the Haqqani network or the Taliban. It just skirts those issues, which are so fundamental to the points that the Americans have been making to Pakistan. And the last paragraph, as you also mentioned, talks about the Islamic State of Daesh. There's a view here in India, perhaps in some other countries, that the Islamic State is less of a threat in Afghanistan than perhaps the Taliban or Al-Qaeda. And the Pakistanis, by trying to focus on the Islamic State, is trying to obscure or blur the role of the other groups for its own purposes, because obviously we are aware that the Taliban Shura has been reported to have been in Quetta for many years, and the Haqqani network, as we are aware, apparently operates from the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa area. So clearly the Pakistanis have their own interests to protect, and that probably explains this statement.
Surya, if I can ask you, you mentioned the fact that we've seen this, spike and drop in the relationship between the United States and Pakistan in the past as well. But does this time strike you as slightly different, given that, there's a lot of pressure within the United States on the administration also when it comes to, generating employment, where the money that the United States has been investing in fighting wars elsewhere in the world goes. Do you find that there is a connection here as well? As far as President Trump and domestic pressure goes, and that being, let's say, utilized elsewhere, such as in Pakistan?
Well, one of the enduring mysteries of the Trump administration is nobody really knows what's going on either in Trump's head or in the State Department, because there are so many unfilled positions in the State Department. And it's not clear who is advising Trump on policy, what kind of policy is being made. We know there's a South Asia policy that has come out, but there are many gaps here. Nobody really knows how serious Trump is, and those tweets that he came out with at the turn of the new year were, in a sense, devastating for Pakistan. But again, it's about a suspension of aid. It's not a cancellation of aid, and Pakistan has gone through this before. So I would presume they are hoping that somewhere down the line, Trump realizes that he needs the Pakistanis, and therefore things will get back to normal. It also explains how they've been pretty measured in the way they respond to Trump, and trying to ensure that they stay on his good side and don't, upset matters too much. We really have to see exactly where this is heading.